Hello, and welcome to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch The Muppets Take Manhattan 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And we're very happy to have our guest from last week back with us this week. Always happy to have her on the podcast. Guest, please introduce yourself.
I'm Jennifer Garland.
And as we mentioned last week, Jennifer is a longtime Muppet fan and editor of the books Kermit Culture and The Wider Worlds of Jem Henson. I hope I got both of those titles right.
You did.
Great. So today we are here to talk about minutes 21 and 22 of The Muppets Take Manhattan, in which the Muppets split up to the musical accompaniment of Saying Goodbye. So we pick up with Kermit asking Miss Piggy if she is also leaving town, like all the other Muppets. All she can do is cry. Although I don't want to, go back to my complaints from last week. But again, even if all the other Muppets are leaving town, couldn't Piggy at least stay? Like, couldn't she and Kermit get some, I don't know, couldn't they find some cheap place to stay? She could get a job as a waitress.
Yes, but then Gregory Hines doesn't get to do his great scene. So...
I mean, then Piggy doesn't get to spy on Kermit and Ginny the whole time.
That's true. That's true. Because exactly. Because we know, because we've seen this movie before, that it's not going to last very long.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So, yeah, they're doing the talking at the same time thing again, and Animal says, "We go bye-bye," which is just heartbreaking.
Well, but it also predicts his signature line on the original Muppet Babies.
Yeah, it does.
He says, "Go bye-bye" at the end of every episode.
Every episode, they would have a little thing with him and Gonzo, right?
Yeah, at the end, like after the closing credits.
Right. So I guess this is the first time Animal says go bye-bye in some form?
Probably.
At the end of the Muppet movie, he says go home?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has said bye-bye before, but I think this is the first go bye-bye.
We should watch the Muppet movie and discuss that. Because
should we watch
one of us remembers
Should we watch it 2 minutes at a time?
I think we should.
All right. Or we can just go back and listen to our episode. I'm sure we talked about it.
I'm certain we did.
Yeah, so all the Muppets tell Kermit that they're going to write to him and that they still believe in the show. So I guess
Which, it's so satisfying to me that they seed that they're all going to write to him. Like,
yeah, I had kind of forgotten about that. They didn't
need to say that out loud, like they could just have done it. But there's something about Fozzie like setting up the Chekhov's gun of we're all going to write to you.
It's another reason they need to leave New York, because otherwise they could just, call or show up.
They could just show up, yeah.
Yeah, but the postcards are...
Yeah, we're all going to write to you, and it will be a series of extremely entertaining vignettes. In the March 7th, 1983 draft of the screenplay, before Scooter reveals that they've all had job offers, it's Janice who first tries to break the news to Kermit. She says, Kermit, we're in Manhattan and all, and producers, I mean, we feel really bad, but it's, like the birds. There is a season, turn. and then Pete pops his head out of the kitchen and says, "That's what I just tell him."
That's really good.
So it's a cute gag.
I like that. I like Janice singing turn also.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that. They should have done that on the Muppet Show.
Yeah, I suspect this is just that sort of let's get to the point. So they had to sacrifice that gag. But yeah, that would have been cute to see.
Look, I just want to hear Richard Hunt sing the super hits of the 60s.
Oh man, yeah.
All the time.
Modest expectations.
Right.
See, he should have come out with an album of his own.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
Actually, can I do a brief tangent?
Absolutely.
When I had a radio show in college, I played Is It True from Fraggle Rock, a song Richard Hunt sings as the Wizard, a visiting charlatan named the Wizard. And I introduced it as the late, great Richard Hunt with Is It True? And did not mention Fraggle Rock or Muppets until the outro. just because he's the greatest, like
that is
it's like one of the greatest voices ever.
Yes, but that also feels like 100% the kind of thing a college Muppet nerd would do to play the song and introduce it as the late great Richard Hunt.
Let him have a radio show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song though. It kind of goes into like maybe not quite a gospel sound, but maybe a little bit of a gospel sound.
Yeah, it's gospel-ish.
Yeah, it's a good one. So, we're about to go into another song here, but do you have any other thoughts about this scene in Pete's before we move on? Either of you?
No, I mean, it's the last time we'll see the whole group together until they all come back. So
that's true.
You have this fracturing of the group that happens after this. So we really don't see much. And I think the band kind of disappears. Like we see them later at the Oktoberfest thing, but they're sidelined as they often are.
Well, and that scene, we'll talk about this when we get there, but that scene was like cut drastically. Yeah. Like there was a ton more of that shot. Bunsen and Beaker were going to be in it, and a bunch. So yeah, their postcard even got like slashed to the bone.
Yeah. I guess they're sort of like supporting characters or kind of the B team.
I always feel like there's not enough Electric Mayhem in anything. Like I always want more Electric Mayhem.
No, yeah, I'd always like to see more of them, but yeah, they're not quite at the level of stardom or prominence as your Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy, Gonzo.
They get a lot of screen time in Muppets from Space.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that like in public consciousness, Animal is definitely at that level.
Yes, Animal is for sure.
Right? If not the other members of the band. Like Animal and the
Dr.
Beaker,
Teeth
right?
band. I want Dr. Teeth to just like show up in everything. So
yeah.
Did you see or are you aware of the episode of the current Muppet Babies series where with Dr. Teeth in it?
I haven't seen the new series.
So there's an episode. Yeah, well, this one would be of particular interest to you because it's all about how Animal should be practicing the drums and all this.
Oh, okay.
And in a dream sequence, the lead singer of his favorite band, Dr. Teeth, a puppet Dr. Teeth on a screen,
the actual
by
Muppet.
Bill Beretta. Yeah. Like Bill Beretta as the Muppet Dr. Teeth is like, "Hey, Animal buddy, you want to join our band?" And whatever.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to find
that.
Yeah. I've seen Earth to Ned and the new Muppet show with Disney Plus and everything, but I haven't gotten to see the new Muppet.
Yeah, and Muppet Babies is on Disney Plus. I don't remember the title of the episode, but I'll look it up.
I'll add that to my list.
Well, okay, so the next thing is Saying Goodbye, which is the saddest number in movie musical history.
I actually wrote my notes say sad all caps.
Yeah, like underline it, italicize it, bold it. It's still, every time I see it, this song just hits me. I think part of that is because I watched this when I was a little kid, and little kids are very in tune to strong emotions, I think. So I think some of that just comes back to me. Like the other one that used to affect me that way when I was a kid was Dumbo, when he goes to visit his mom and she's locked up. Baby Mine, yes. I haven't seen Dumbo for many years, but I would probably get the same sort of...
it'll still make you cry.
Yeah, the same sort of chills from that I still do from this. But man, what a sad song this is.
And Fozzie with his teddy bear. Oh.
Right. Well, and like, obviously this isn't the last time that the Muppets ever worked together, of course. but Jim Henson died only...
The band broke up.
Right. But Jim Henson died only 6 years later. Right. And they only did a few more projects with these characters before he died. Yes. Like about 3 big ones. Right?
Yeah, it is hard not to think about that.
And so, like, for example here, and maybe I'm skipping ahead, but like just talking about how sad it is, there's a long shot here of Rolf and Fozzie hugging goodbye.
Yeah.
Jim and Frank, right?
Yeah.
Who like were going to say goodbye to one another not too long after this, for real.
Yeah.
And
they
then
didn't know.
Right. But I'm saying, like, for like watching it for the past 30 years, I can't help but feel that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other person in that same shot is Scooter. So Richard Hunt too, you know?
Right. And that is the shot that always hits me the hardest. And that's why, even subconsciously, maybe I've been absorbing that. Cause yeah. But I mean, and Jeff Moss did a great job, because it's just, the lyrics are just really tap into this thing of when you have to part ways with someone you care about.
Well, and speaking of, like you mentioned earlier that like only a Muppet nerd would say the late great Richard Hunt. My best friend in high school and I pushed really hard for this song to be in our like graduation ceremony slideshow music.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And my friend Mary, rightly probably, said, no, it's like if
too sad.
Well, no, she said the opposite. She was like, if like sad music comes out and then the people hear Miss Piggy, like they're going to laugh. It's going to be a laugh moment for the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? You're probably right out of context. Like, but to me, this is just like the saddest thing ever. So
for the average person, yes.
Yeah, but like if you're not watching the movie, you don't know the song. It's just like, oh, the joke is that Miss Piggy is singing it. You know?
Yeah, or even you would just be aware that it's a man singing falsetto, even if you didn't immediately.
Right. But I think eventually you'd recognize Kermit, or you'd recognize Fozzie, or I mean, most parents at a graduation ceremony in 2003 would recognize Kermit the Frog.
Oh God, I feel so old.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you? So was that wasn't like your class song though, right?
No. Our class song was "Leavin' Town" by Dexter Freebish. So.
Oh, okay. I was just remembering though that reminded me. We voted on the class song, and the one that won was that Green Day song.
Good Riddance. Good Riddance. Parentheses. Time of Your Life.
Time of Your Life. Yeah, Good Riddance. Yeah, but my nomination was the song "Alcohol" by Bare Naked Ladies, which was my way of quietly protesting the extreme drunkenness of some of my fellow classmates. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to suggest "Alcohol" as the class song. That'll show them.
And then everybody was like,
and my AARP card.
But also I don't think anyone in your class was going to be like, oh, that Bare Naked Ladies deep cut, you're really sticking it to me. Like,
no,
I know that one. It's like,
I mean, although I think most people had that CD.
Yeah, I guess so. But they listened to the first two tracks and then shut it off.
Yeah, like, you're probably right.
Unless you're a fan, and that's a great album. I'm not knocking Stunt, an album that I adore.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
Like for most people, they like heard the hits. You know how it is. That's
I was just so disgusted with my drunken classmates that I was like, "This is my protest vote." But of course, the Green Day song was the one that won. But
but that anyway. And that was like new that was like a year old when you graduated.
It was pretty new. I think it was always going to win. So just like whatever year that Vitamin C song came out, that was everybody's class song that year. Graduation.
Yeah,
I think it's actually called Graduation.
Called Graduation. Yeah.
Yeah, Graduation. There we go.
It's also not as good a song as Saying Goodbye.
No, it's not. And back to Saying Goodbye. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
So we see the Muppets. We touched on this a little bit last week, but we see them all leaving town by various modes of transportation.
Vehicle montage.
Yes, Miss Piggy is leaving by train. According to the Bowery Boys blog post on the Muppets Take Manhattan locations, this is Hoboken Terminal in New Jersey, and Piggy is riding on one of the Erie Lackawanna electric trains, which were in service from 1930 to the early 80s. So it's a good choice all around because it just has a kind of timeless look to it, which is obviously what they were going for.
Yeah, it's this real classic movie romance moment that calls back to a lot of older films. And I think most people who see it now will recognize it showing up in the same parody context in Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
You've probably seen Young Frankenstein, which is also parodying the trope.
Right, but also around the same time, Airplane has a scene where like they're doing it on
parodying the trope,
parodying the trope again, but on an airplane, which like is the joke there. So it's like for me that was definitely it was those three. It was this and the two you mentioned, or those other two.
But in the movies that really use that scene to great effect. Although it's not a woman who's on the train at that point, she's noticeably absent from the train. We see it in Casablanca, where Rick is waiting at the train station for Ilsa, and she doesn't come, and he gets on the train, and that's their parting. Like she's not there, and so he gets on the train and leaves Paris as the Nazis are coming in. So that's one of those great train romantic, sad moments in movies that creates this trope. And then Brief Encounter from 1945, which is a British film, has all these sequences with the trains, but that's that scene where you see the woman on the train and they're parting, and it's very sad. And the whole train thing shows up in a lot of movies. And of course, you get movies like Murder on the Orient Express and all that kind of stuff that really capitalizes on that style and the dramatic moments that are possible in train stations and on trains. And so it becomes this really recognizable thing that Young Frankenstein and Airplane and Muppets Take Manhattan are all making fun of because it's become so ingrained, as this movie trope.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably have even been able to identify. I haven't seen Brief Encounter. I've seen.
It's so sad.
I'll put that on my list. I have seen Casablanca. I wouldn't have been able to identify that as being part of this trope, but I probably, just absorbed it somewhere along the way.
Rick is in the train station and he's waiting for Ilsa, and the Nazis are closing in. Right, he's got to get out of Paris.
Yeah,
and Sam is there with him, and he gets a note. And he gets a note from Ilsa, and she says she's not coming. And the scene is he cries, it's raining, and his tears fall on the note and obscure the ink.
Okay.
At the last minute, he gets on the train and he gets out of Paris.
Yeah, that's familiar. Yeah. In one of those parodies, is there one where the woman is chasing the train and she keeps running into lampposts, or is that something else I'm thinking of?
I mean, that happens in Airplane with she's running into the air traffic barriers. Yeah.
Okay. I'm picturing it at a train station, but maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
But they do it like a train station, like it has the fog and everything.
The joke is that it's an airplane, but it's like a train station.
Then
so you get the romance of classic films with the train scenes.
Yeah, then that's what that is. Piggy drops her handkerchief out the window as the train is moving away from Kermit, and then Kermit picks it up a second later. And not until I was watching this 2 minutes at a time and really thinking about it did it occur to me that there have to be two handkerchiefs in this shot, because Kermit, the puppet with non-articulated hands cannot catch a handkerchief in the air or even pick it up and grasp it in his hands. So, there must have been one handkerchief that Piggy dropped out the window, and then one handkerchief that's already in Kermit's hand out of frame, and then he pulls it up for us to see it. So
yeah, because it was all one shot. You're right.
It is, yeah. So I like thinking about stuff like that. We talked about the shot of Fozzie, Ralph, and Scooter.
And then we get Gonzo and Camilla on the truck.
Well, although one more thing about Scooter, which it's very telling to me that you didn't mention it. Scooter rides his bike away.
He does. He rides his bicycle.
Well, that's the next one after Fozzie and Ralph.
Yeah.
Hugging.
Oh, it is.
I see. So, I also was gonna just another puppetry thing, Ralph and Fozzie are patting each other on the back. That's a very expressive puppetry performance. And then Ralph even wipes his nose at one point. He kind of just sticks his finger under his nose, like his nose is running. So very, very expressive puppetry. Then we do see Scooter riding his bike down the road with the New York skyline in the background.
Well, and it says a lot about how confident they are at this point, that in the Muppet movie it's like a signature stunt.
Yes, it's like wow, how'd they do that?
Right. In the Great Muppet Caper, it's a more elaborate stunt.
And it's like, and in this what? How did they do that?
Right, and in this one, it's just like, Scooter's riding a bike. Let's give it to Scooter. Who cares? Whatever.
I saw that scene and I thought, it's going to take him a really long time to get out of New York on a bicycle. Does
he ride his bike all the way to Cleveland?
Oh, wow.
Will he even make it to New Jersey at this rate?
Well, the Bowery Boys blog tells us that this shot is filmed in New Jersey, but I don't know, how far out you'd have to be to get that exact shot of the Manhattan skyline.
It just takes a long time to ride a bicycle out of New York.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Like 3 days later, and he's still, trying to get out of the greater city area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the Jim Henson Company's Jim's Red Book blog tells us that Scooter was performed. The bike riding Scooter was worked by Brian Henson in the shot.
Oh.
There's actually a
Bry
picture.
guy, huh?
What?
That old Bry guy, huh?
Yes, Bry Guy, the Muppets on Bicycles expert, because he was heavily involved in the Great Muppet Caper scene. There's a picture of him up on a platform, so I guess this is pretty much done the same way as the previous ones, just kind of an elaborate marionette.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, I've never heard anyone once ask the question, how did they get Scooter to ride a bike in the Muppets Take Manhattan? So that is a very interesting...
Right, like it's like a non-issue at this point.
Yeah.
It's like what thrilled
Muppets
us.
ride bicycles. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Gonzo and Camilla are leaving on a truck, which is, I guess, these are large bags of animal feed, maybe.
Yeah.
But those large bags of animal feed have Dave Goles at least in them, right? Like,
right,
Well, yeah.
right. So that's what I was going to say. Is presumably Dave Goles and Jerry Nelson are buried under these piles of bags somewhere.
I kind of think it's just Dave, and here's why.
I thought about the fact that Gonzo and Camilla are leaving on a truck, and in the Muppet movie, the first time we saw them, they were on a truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. True. Yeah. Huh.
So of course they are on a truck because that's how they entered this, movie world.
This trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're exiting.
I love
on the
that.
truck.
But I think it's just Dave, and here's why. Because Gonzo has his arm around Camilla. So Dave isn't operating Gonzo's arms at all.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of the characters are moving that much. Like, I don't see why Dave could.
Yeah, they're kind of far back.
Yeah, I don't see why. Like, Camilla is essentially functioning as Gonzo's arm here, right? Like, I don't see why it couldn't be one guy under there rather than two.
Doing both of them. So, yeah, like, okay, I'm trying to just picture. I know the listeners can't see me, but like, Gonzo over here. But then Dave would have to be working Gonzo with his left hand and Camilla with his right, which I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe not. And I keep saying Dave. It could also just be whoever. It could be David Rudman, right? Like,
right. And Gonzo is
lines from the song at that point.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Gonzo is singing the lines from the song, and Camilla is moving fluidly enough that I don't think it's a remote control puppet. It does look like there's someone's hand in there. So I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the kind of thing we like to talk about here. So just before this clip ends, we see Ralph on a bus, and that's pretty much it. Any thoughts on Ralph riding a bus?
How did he get the money for the bus fare?
Great question.
I do because they're out of money for the lockers.
Right, and Piggy takes a train.
I keep wondering, how did they pay for these tickets? Like, I understand why the Electric Mayhem is hitchhiking, and Gonzo's hitchhiking. He's got to ride on a truck, and Scooter's on a bicycle. But then the other ones are on these, paid conveyances. And I keep thinking, well, I thought they were broke.
They just mugged a hapless passerby.
Which just to give another classic movie train connection. So in the major and the minor, Ginger Rogers pretends to be 12 in order to get the junior train fare to get out of New York after she's spoiled out and has to go back to her small town.
Huh.
And then she meets a guy she likes, but he thinks she's 12.
Well, Ralph is only 22, so he could probably pass for 12.
So getting the money to ride on the train or the bus or whatever is a significant question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Maybe they stole coins from the fountains around the various parks in the city.
Yeah, maybe Pete loaned them the money. He doesn't seem to be making a profit.
Yeah. Maybe they swiped some of the tips off the tables at Pete's.
Who tips at Pete's? I mean, really.
Yeah, good question.
It's kind of like the restaurant version of the Happiness Hotel,
Yeah, that's true. It is. It has at least one of the same staff too, right?
Yeah,
it has one of the same staff.
The crossover staff, and the penguins come looking for a job.
Huh.
That's such a great joke. Oh man.
Yeah, we'll get to that. No, before too long, actually. All right, yeah, that is everything I have. Any final thoughts about these 2 minutes? Jennifer, starting with you.
It's really the low point, the nadir of the film emotionally, because things look bad and we feel like the band is breaking up, the group is breaking up, and their dreams have not worked out, and they're just going to have to persevere. So I like the beats because, we got to have a bottom to build back up from.
It's true. Yeah, I'm glad there's a lot more movie left to go.
Yeah, this is not how it ends.
No. Anthony, anything?
No. I didn't. No, I don't.
All right. So with that, we will wrap things up for this week. Everyone, please make sure you check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. You can also email us at movinrightalong@toughpigs.com to share your thoughts on this episode or this scene or future scenes that are coming up. We are also grateful to Morgan Davey for our logo and Stacey Rosen for our theme music. You can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe. And Jennifer, remind us where people can find you and your work on the internet.
I am on Twitter and Instagram as Jennifer Garland, and my classic movie blog is called Virtual Virago. And you can find me on Classic Movie Hub, where I'm a monthly columnist. My column is called Silver Screen Standards.
Great. Everyone should check that out. And also, if you don't mind, please give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or wherever. And please tell your friends about the show and join us again next week for another episode of Movin' Right Along. Bye.
We go bye-bye.
Bye for now.